you're looking excited.
That's because we have a myth that's spectacular, gross, and challenging all wrapped up into one.
What's the story?
It's the one where the pilot jettisons the contents of an airplane toilet, which promptly freezes at altitude and turns into a deadly projectile.
Ah, you're talking about the myth of blue ice.
Exactly.
When mysterious substances of suspect origin fall from the sky, urban myths are sure to follow. And the conspiracy theory that has the message boards in a spin is the infamous blue ice. And here's how it happens. On a bright sunny day, a passing pilot supposedly jettisons the contents of the toilet's tank. And apparently at high altitudes, the sub-zero temperatures freeze the liquid into a damaging and disgusting missile.
All right, we know a little bit about airplane toilets because we did a myth on them. We know for a fact you can't get sucked into them if you're sitting down.
And we know the reason why it's blue is because they use that chemical to cover the smell.
But what we don't know is, what happens to the waste?
Yeah, can you actually eject the contents in midair?
I guess this is where we start.
So first up, Kari hits Stockton Airport to find out when and how a pilot dumps his waste.
So you're an airplane technician. What do you think of our old blue ice myth?
Well, Kari, as you can see from this cockpit, there are thousands of buttons and switches, of which none are labeled dump the toilet.
Which is bad news for the myth. But if the pilot can't jettison the John mid-flight, is there any way the liquid blue waste can escape?
Failure of components.
So there could be a mechanical problem that causes blue ice instead of the pilot.
Yes. Like with most systems on an airplane, there are redundancies, and with the lab, it's no different.
Yep, there are 3 fail-safes that have to be breached in order for the liquid to leak. The dump valve on the holding tank, and 2 watertight seals leading to the exterior of the fuselage. If all 3 of those components fail, that's a problem. And to get a closer look, it's that toilet tour Kari's been waiting for.
So I noticed that there's a sign that says don't throw any foreign bodies into the toilet. If something hard had been thrown in there, like a cell phone, is it possible that that could create a leak?
Totally. That's very important. Any hard object gets lodged up against this seal, it's going to leak.
So if the dump valve seal was compromised, wastewater would flood the pipe, pushing up against the remaining 2 valves.
This is the forward lav access door.
So that leads right up into the toilet.
That's correct.
And it's here on the fuselage that we find those final watertight seals. But could they both fail? And if so, would it lead to a slow leak or a large-scale dump?
Not likely. Is it possible? Absolutely. Multiple components that fail, leading to a problem.
This myth is looking good.
Yes, my baby. All right, Kari, so how did it go?
Well, part of this myth isn't looking good. There's no way for the pilot to jettison the contents of a toilet.
True, but that doesn't rule out ice falling off the plane.
That's right, there's still 2 scenarios that could happen. There could be a major malfunction that leads to either all of the contents coming out at once, freezing and falling to Earth, or you could get a nice slow leak that created an ice ball.
Now the question is, how are we going to test them?
Actually, we've been talking to our friends at NASA, and they've agreed to let us use their icing research tunnel, which can simultaneously duplicate temperatures of -20 degrees and wind speeds of up to 250 knots.
That is the perfect conditions for high altitude.
Well, it sounds like before we leave, we're going to have to build a leaky airplane toilet.
Now, this myth is about airplanes, but in order to test it, we don't need to build a full airplane. All we need to do is make something that has similar aerodynamic properties. So, this is our design. And this will have low drag and a place to leak, which are the most important things.
So for their tests at NASA, Kari builds a waste system designed to fail in 2 ways, either with a slow leak or a catastrophic dump. Then with the wind tunnel simulating a high-altitude flight, they'll be able to determine if blue ice forms in either scenario.
Now, according to NASA specs, it had to be out of aluminum because that's what airplanes are made of, and we were not allowed to weld anything because they didn't want anything breaking apart inside the wind tunnel because there's going to be so much pressure created by the wind. So we had to drill and rivet over 600 rivets to put our airplane together. And what we have right here is our valve. This is what we're gonna have hooked up to a water tank, and we're gonna be doing 2 tests. One where we dump the water completely, and then one where there's a slow leak to find out, can you grow a chunk of ice on the side of a plane?
Kari, Grant, and Tory are tackling the infamous tall tale of blue ice. Can a leaking toilet midair lead to a deadly chunk of ice down there? To find out for sure, Tory and Grant touch down in Nerd Nirvana.
All stations reporting with a go, no go.
Now, Roger, prepare to release the geek.
Okay.
Because this place has a heap of hardcore hardware.
This massive fan is the heart of NASA's icing tunnel. It's powered by a 5,000 horsepower direct drive electric motor. It has 12 individual custom fan blades for a diameter of 25 feet. It's capable of generating wind speeds over 300 knots. And that's only half the equation. This is the other half of the equation, the icing tunnel itself. The wind comes rushing through here, refrigerated to minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit.
Those are the spectacular specs. And now, to put them to good use.
The way we're gonna test this is we're gonna stick our section of fuselage into their wind tunnel.
Does this mean I'm the R2-D2?
Oh boy. And recreate the same wind speeds and temperatures that you would find at altitude. Then we're gonna create a leak inside the valve. Let it sit there and see if those conditions will cause that blue liquid to form into a chunk of ice.
Remember, there are 2 leaky valve scenarios the team will test. And first up is the catastrophic dump.
What I think is gonna happen is we're gonna open the valve, all the fluid's gonna come out, and it's just gonna go, essentially atomize into nothing.
Grant's skeptical of a blue icicle, but to find out for sure, he fills the toilet with some pseudo-blue waste.
Smells like a chemical toilet. All right, start the test.
We have our model in position. We're ready to go.
All right, fire it up.
All right, let's go. Fire it up.
Maximum warp. Ugh, sorry, I just made that really
We're trying to
geeky,
make
didn't I?
science cool, dude.
Here we go.
And for cool science, let's make it so. The fan winds up, whipping up a 290-mile-an-hour wind speed. Then the heat exchanger drops the air temperature to a high altitude minus 20 degrees Celsius.
Our model is holding together perfectly.
Then they're ready to pull the pin on the catastrophic failure test. Will the blue liquid instantly freeze into a chunk of blue ice?
So this is full tanked up in 3, 2, 1, go! Oh my God! Look at how fast it's coming out. That is awesome.
As soon as the liquid exits the aircraft, it's ripped away by the shearing force of the wind. And despite the bitterly cold air temperatures, it's unable to form the mythical slice of ice.
So behind me are the results of our complete release test where we dumped the entire contents of the waste tank. Now, it didn't atomize all the way because you can see some of it formed on the surface here, but it also did not form one big chunk that could fall on someone.
Yep, although most of the blue waste was vaporized on contact with the wind, some did form a thin layer, just not enough for a blue icicle.
But I mean, it's incredible. We got an actual layer of ice, and pretty quickly.
All right, well, let's try again and this time have a slow leak.
All right, let's see if that gives us a big chunk of ice.
Okay, so we're ready to do our slow leak test. My personal feeling is that we'll probably get maybe a line of frozen liquid. Maybe that's building up, but I don't think there's any way we're gonna get anything this big freezing and falling off the fuselage.
Once again, the NASA techs simulate the same high-altitude conditions and then sabotage the plumbing for the drip test. And once the leak is leaking,
Look how quick the ice is building up.
the results are as astonishing as they are immediate.
Dude, this is looking great, and it's blue.
That is fantastic. It hasn't even been 2 minutes yet.
Oh my gosh, that is incredible.
The liquid moving over the surface of the aircraft is protected from the extreme wind speeds by what's called a boundary layer.
What that means is that not all the air traveling over the airplane goes at the same rate. In certain areas, it actually travels a lot slower.
Which creates a protective cushion where ice crystals can form.
This thing is like this big. I call that baseball size right there.
If that whole thing broke off, that would be just like the myth.
The guys are blown away, unlike the ice. Question is, how big can it get, and will it fall off?
I just can't believe how big it's getting.
20 minutes later, with a diameter around 10 inches, the blue icicle seems to have reached a size plateau.
It's approaching soccer ball size.
And with plenty of water still in the tank, that's not the limiting factor. But Grant thinks he knows what is.
Now, an interesting thing to note here is that as the ice is getting thicker and pushing away from the skin, it's actually pushing its way out of the boundary layer. Once it exits the boundary layer, it actually hits the faster moving air and just goes away. It doesn't allow it to freeze up, which may be a reason why the ice doesn't get really, really big.
So with this fuselage, these wind speeds, and this air temperature, this is as big as it's gonna get.
But let's see if we can get it to fall off. Let's pretend like it's at its final descent, temperatures are rising. Maybe we can get it to break off and find out exactly what happens when it does.
Perfect.
All right, start warming it up.
It's a good theory, because as the aircraft descends and the air temperature warms,
Oh, we're getting bigger chunks breaking off.
surely it's only a matter of time before the blue ice barnacle becomes a blue ice missile.
-7 degrees.
And as it turns out, when the wind tunnel conditions match those of an altitude of 12,000 feet, we have liftoff.
That thing blew up in one giant chunk. Wow! Dude, that was perfect.
It was a perfect illustration that this myth has a foundation in aerodynamic fact.
That is unbelievable. That is solid ice. And it happened so quickly.
And it came off in one giant chunk.
This myth is starting to look very, very believable.
Yeah, but you know what the next step is? What happens to the ice after it falls off?
I can't believe it.
So here's where we're at. We've looked into airline toilets and found that they can leak through an external valve.
Is it possible? Absolutely.
We made our own fuselage, went to NASA's wind tunnel, and found that you can actually form a giant chunk of ice, which then fell off the airplane. Now what we're going to test is what happens to that ice after it falls. What we need to see for this myth to be confirmed is for that ice to fall through the air as one giant chunk and hit the ground as one piece with deadly force.
This is the final piece of the blue ice puzzle. While falling from 12,000 feet at a terminal velocity of 160 miles per hour, will the ice stay in one piece? Or will wind erosion and warming temperatures cause it to break up into harmless blue rain? To track that, the team has a spectacular plan of action.
We have our airplane. We're gonna load it up with a large chunk of ice, take it up to altitude, and then throw it out. Now we're gonna have a few skydivers jump out with the ice to track. Kari is gonna be one of those skydivers.
Yep, and skydiving team leader Nick also has the crucial job of timing the drop. Because if the myth is true and the blue ice falls in one chunk, missing the mark could be deadly.
Let's hope they can see that.
So Nick, what's involved in actually calculating where something's going to land?
Well, first off, we need to figure out how fast this object is going to free fall. The second thing is we have a lot of wind here, so as the wind blows, the object's going to blow with it. The third thing is, too, the airplane has forward speed when we chuck out the ice out of the plane, and what that creates a forward throw. So all these three factors is what we use, and we make an educated guess of where we need to drop it from the aircraft to land right on the target.
Are you ready?
That sounds simple. So, Grant, what's the plan?
Okay, so here's the plan. Kari and our expert Nick will go in the plane with the ice. They're gonna go up, and based on the prevailing conditions and Nick's calculations, they'll know when to release the ice at an
like you've done this
altitude that
before.
they deem safe. Nick will jump out, and so will Kari, following the ice down.
You'll be fine.
I'm gonna double check this.
Meanwhile, Tory and I will be on the ground tracking the ice in the air and looking for the impact zone.
And as for the blue ice, well, earlier, Kari prepared a similar size block to the test at NASA. It's approximately the diameter of a basketball, eye-catching, and easily retrievable.
To make sure that we can watch this ice fall, I've done something a little different. I've made it red instead of blue so that it's going to stand out on the blue sky. I've added some really long streamers so that we can track it, and I'm going to put a GPS on it.
Now, for this myth to be confirmed, we need to see that block of ice drop from altitude and get to the Earth in one solid chunk.
Good luck. Good luck, you guys.
What I think is going to happen, I think Kari is going to scream her head off. She may potentially pee her suit, but I think that block of ice is going to land on the ground in one big chunk.
Okay, here's the package. Good luck.
And despite all of their precautions, they will need some luck. Their goal is to drop the ice and Kari from 12,000 feet.
Here we go, Kari.
The height at which Grant and Tory saw the ice release from the fuselage at NASA.
Okay, now I'm starting to get a little nervous.
But will it remain intact? Traveling with an energy of 392,000 joules, its impact will certainly be deadly. However, if it melts in the rising temperatures, it'll be rendered harmless.
We've done many experiments where we drop things from altitude or throw things out of planes, and you know what? My feeling is that this ice is going to fall down in one piece and land with a tremendous amount of force.
Goal?
In fact, I think it's going to land so hard, it's probably going to leave a little crater down at the ground. Whether it's going to break up or melt, no way. It's going to be one giant chunk.
At 12,000 feet, Kari and her free-falling friends are preparing to deploy their blue ice cargo.
All I gotta do is look at the ice. One job!
But will it break up on descent or have the devastating impact internet reports claim?
Oh boy, this is it, huh?
If the team misjudged the timing of the drop by even a second, a 35-pound projectile traveling at 160 miles per hour could crash through a neighboring house. But that's only if the ice actually stays in one chunk. If it breaks up, the only thing busted will be the myth.
I got them. They're approaching the drop zone.
So this is it. It's time to drop out and jump off for science.
Okay, the ice is away. Ah, so are they.
In a stunning piece of free-fall camera work, Nick manages to capture the ice as it plummets.
Oh, look how fast it's falling.
That thing is falling.
And Kari can see that it's so far so good. With the ice already at a balmy 5,000 feet, it's still completely intact.
Look, it's standing in one chunk.
Dude, that's crazy.
But will it stay that way as they enter the final few thousand feet of descent?
I see the ice right there, and it's that near the target. That's great.
Do you see the size of that impact?
And did you see it stayed in one chunk?
Wow, that's maybe only 150 feet from the drop zone.
I saw the ice go down, and I swear I saw it land. It stayed intact.
Let's go meet Kari and we'll go find it.
All right, let's go get it.
Hi, Kari. Hi, Grant.
Here she
Oh,
comes.
she's coming in hot.
You made it.
Wow. Nice.
What a ride, and what a test. And no wonder Kari's adrenaline is off the charts.
Good job.
Let's go check out the ice. Did you see it? Did you see it?
Right over.
Everything went according to plan. For the majority of its descent, there was visual contact, confirming that the ice retained its shape and mass. And then, thanks to Kari's visual aids and Nick's awesome aim, finding the impact site is a breeze.
There's the streamer.
Is it intact?
I mean, it was a chunk before it hit the ground. And that is still a chunk of ice.
Check it out. It dug itself into the ground.
Wow, that is a serious impact.
Yep, and it may have melted slightly in the time it took to find it, but the crater created is a clear testament to its destructive power.
This is the size of the block of ice that we threw out of our plane, which is very similar to the size of the chunk of ice that we formed in our wind tunnel at NASA that fell off. That block of ice reached terminal velocity very quickly. It left a sizable impact crater, and what's more, it stayed pretty much intact all the way down to impact.
Because when we actually got to the site where the ice had hit, it really looked like all of the ice chunks I had seen on the internet that were the mythical blue ice that had come down in people's houses. Okay, a pilot can't release all of the toilet water at once, so that part's busted, but I think the phenomena is confirmed. I mean, it made it all the way to the ground.
Totally confirmed.
I agree 100%.
Confirmed. But 3 mechanical failures leading to blue ice falling on your house is in reality incredibly unlikely.
I don't be looking up for blue ice to fall on my head now, right?
Dude, I'm gonna get blue ice insurance.
I know a guy. So
Yeah?
let me know. I'll give you his number.